What's going on, everyone? In today's video, I'm asking the question, what's it like to bike in Xenia, Ohio? Now, first of all, I want to let you know I have not visited Xenia, Ohio, and I do not live in Xenia. But what I'm going to be doing today is using online tools that are also available at your disposal to research what it's like to bike in that area. And I think Xenia is actually a really interesting place, as you can maybe see by the map that's kind of on my screen right now. For a few reasons. I'll get into those in the video. I also want you to note that there's nothing better than getting firsthand experience and knowledge from someone who lives in the area. And if that might be you, I would love to interview you about what's it like to bike in Xenia. So if that might be you, go down in the description. You can fill out a survey. I'll reach out. Maybe we can schedule an interview. But nonetheless, I will jump into it today with my perspective on Xenia, and just, let's see, there we go. I'm going to open up a Strava heat map first of all. So this is where I like to start. It's fun to see. This is basically user submissions of people that have used Strava and all the data that's related to cycling in that area. So this center right here is Xenia. You can see the brighter the color, the more intense and more data there is on cycling there. So you can see some kind of, it's like a rotary hub. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 roads or trails that look very heavily trafficked. I see it looks like a park here that's probably mountain biking that has a bunch of data. I see a hotspot kind of around here. And then there's some surrounding cities, like I believe this is Dayton, Ohio. Columbus is over here. But again, today we're focusing on Xenia, Ohio, right here. So first of all, some data on Xenia. It's about a population of 26,500 people. It's a smaller town. We'll look at some images real quick of what's going on. This is like the town center. We've got a massive tornado, I think, that went through in, I can't remember what decade, but that's definitely an area of the United States where that is more prevalent. They've definitely gone through some rebuilding since then. It's just amazing to see the previous pictures. I was talking to someone about this the other day, but there's nowhere in the world, I think, that you can go and avoid extreme weather. It just is everywhere, whether you're in Florida with hurricanes, California wildfires, earthquakes, like extreme heat, extreme cold, blizzards, you just can't escape it. But yeah, that is a quick overview of the downtown area, or at least kind of what the skyline looks like. Doesn't look like there's any mountains in the area. But I want to pull up this. So this is TrailLink by Rails and Trails Conservancy, which shows rail trails. If you're not familiar with a rail trail, it's an old railroad that's not being used anymore. It's turned into a multi-use path. It's great for bikers. It's great for walkers. It's great for people in wheelchairs that want to run around town and not have to worry about traffic from cars. So there's kind of, again, I think this is what the heat map we were seeing here is. It's all of these rail trails. So we've got one called the James Spur Connecting. That's 1.2 miles. Tower Road Spur, 0.6 miles. Creekside Trail, 15.2 miles. I assume that runs along a creek. We've got Xenia Jamestown Connector, 15.7 miles that connects Xenia to Jamestown, believe it or not. We've got, let me zoom in to this one. Yeah, I've already clicked on that one. So this one, the Great American Rail Trail, it claims that it's 3,743 miles. They haven't fully built it yet, though, so you've got a long way to go. If you're curious about that, go to the Rails and Trails Conservancy website or just Google Great American Rail Trail. And they've got this amazing plan to build out like a car-free route across the entire United States. So there's a rail trail here, though, that, will take you all the way from Xenia to Dayton, which is pretty sweet. And then once you're in Dayton, it just kind of continues on through as well. You can even bike all the way from Xenia to Columbus if you kind of pair together some of these paths. So like this one's 22.5 miles, 15.9, 6.5. So if you're into more like road cycling, I feel like, well, I'll get into the mountain bike trails in a second, but just the amount of directions you can go and interconnect. Like you could get to Dayton, Ohio, three of the major cities in Ohio: Dayton, Springfield, which I don't know much about, and Columbus, as well as Cincinnati, all by bike from Xenia, which on rail trails. That is really unique. Okay. Let's go to MTB project and look what we got going on here. So here's a downtown of Xenia, and it looks like you're not going to have any mountain biking right directly in town. But as you can see, to go back to the heat map, we saw a lot of riding kind of just northeast, and that has got to be this trail system right here of John Bryan State Park. So if you're looking for some mountain biking there, then it looks like there's a good amount of 10.2 miles if you do the full loop of riding there. It looks like I'm looking at elevations wise. Let's change that. Let's check the elevation. So terrain, doesn't look like there's too much elevation change there, but yep, that's not always a bad thing. We've got like Great Scott at 6.5 miles, 199 feet up, 220 down. John Bryan State Park. Overall, you're going 390 feet up, 396 down. So there is definitely some elevation change there. Nothing crazy though. And then if we go down into, so again, there's Xenia, about equal distance, maybe a little bit further, you're going to have this trail system here, which is overall, it's called Cedar Creek State Park. You got about 13.3 miles. From the looks of it, you've got some more technical stuff here. It's blues and blacks, whereas, let me just double check. This trail system up here is more green blues. So I'm guessing the more experienced riders are going to go down to Cedar Creek State Park and experience those trails down there. So let's see if these are going to be connected on. So I love to be able to bike along rail trails to get to mountain bike paths. So let's just go back to okay, here's that lake. Cedar Creek is where the trails were right here. Looks like you should be able to go out on this bike path, the Creekside Trail, out to them. And then as far as, so I believe, yeah, John Bryan State Park right there, you can go on let's see which trail this is. I believe it is, so they're trying to get me to sign up. What trail is this? Goes through Yellow Springs. I think it's the Simon Kenton Trail. So yeah, and it's asphalt crushed stone. Nice. Crushed stone is pretty fun to ride on, especially for the gravel people. But you can get to both of those mountain bike parks by rail trail. So let me look though how far. So like John Bryan State Park is about so it's a 52-minute bike ride. Oh, that's arbitrary. It's 10 miles. That's going to take you along Bicycle Route 3, they call it. And then what about the other trail system? If you're trying to bike Cedar Creek backpacking trailhead. Interesting. We'll take us there. Ooh, it tells you to go all the way around. So that's going to be much further, about an hour 42 if you're going to get there, and you're going to be on some roads more often. So I'm guessing if you're going to be biking from Xenia to get to the trails, you're probably going to be going to John Bryan State Park. If you're going to ride 52 minutes there, ride for an hour, come back another 45 minutes, whatever it may be, you got yourself like a 3-hour mountain biking adventure. So that's interesting. Now, as far as gravel maps, this shows you gravel roads in the area. I didn't see much. I'm not sure if that's because there's just not a lot of user submissions here, or maybe there isn't much. I mean, you can see there's so much like if you look in, like, I guess this is Northeast Ohio, Danville, Gann. Yeah, is that Ohio? There's a lot here. So maybe it's just that this area doesn't have a lot of gravel trail, but what I can tell you is I don't think you're going to really miss out on a lot of different, like, longer routes in this area, considering there's so many rail trails. All right, let's keep it flowing. So as far as bike packing routes, let's go to their routes. I'm going to view the map. So bikepacking.com helps you find bike packing routes all across the world. It's a really fun website to go through and explore. You can download their GPX files that you can upload to to your bike computers, and we're zooming into Ohio. Okay, so here's Columbus, here's Dayton. Xenia is going to be right about here. So it looks like there is a massive trail that goes from Cincinnati to Cleveland, and it's a 621-mile trail. That one looks epic. It doesn't run through Dayton, or sorry, rather Xenia, but it is in the vicinity. So that is pretty cool to know. Let's go to the U.S. bicycle routes system. So U.S. bicycle routes, I'm just getting to learn a little bit more about these recently, but they're kind of intriguing, kind of like more of a federal level bike route system that's supposed to help with bike travel. Again, I'm still learning more, but you can see these at Adventure Cycling. So let's zoom into Ohio. I think the whole goal, the goal of their mission is to like build a more intentionally build these route systems to be catered for bikers, or at least have infrastructure for bikers. That's lodging, that's ideally safe, like more traffic-free rides. That really excites me. The biggest thing for me is just safety always, is trying to get as far away from cars as possible. I want to bike, I don't want to fight. Okay, so here it is. There's a blue route that goes through Xenia, and that's US Bicycle Route 50, Ohio eastbound, and US Bicycle Route 21. So there's those two. I'm going to figure out how to do more research on those. But that is a good sign because, as you can see, this route system, I mean, there's a good amount, but the fact that there's two independent routes going through Xenia, Ohio, is pretty cool. You're not going to see as much out west, nothing in a lot of these states. So that seems pretty intriguing. I'm going to zoom through. Let's go to weather, okay, or maybe some like more information. Medium home price, $168,300. That's definitely, well, let's see how it compares to the average in America. I think median home cost again, $168,300. How does that relate to the average? All right, I'm not sure, but sorry about that. Xenia is, so this is what I want to look at. The best places comfort index. Okay. And this is basically a scale from 1 to 10 that shows you how comfortable the weather is. And they have an algorithm for this. Essentially they put through, but so let's look at all of this basically accounts for whether it's too hot and too cold, right? So there's a nice in between. And it looks like, we'll look at all the months that are above a 7. So March 6.1, April 7.7, May 8.8, June 9.2, July 8.3. Those summer months are pretty solid. August 8.7, September. Looks like the two best months to be there are probably June and September. Maybe if you're going for a trip, just to ride all the trails there. October 8.1, November starts getting colder. So 7 out of the 12 months are in that 7 and above category. Last thing I want to look at is the adventurecycling.com routes. These are pre-planned bike touring routes, which are more on-road. Bike packing routes that I showed you earlier, like this one, this is more off-road, and these adventure cycling routes are going to be more on-road. So I've used these before to go from Boston to Philadelphia. It was a great route. Let's zoom in here. And yeah, so there's a route that goes from, it's basically just copies the US bicycle routes that I was showing you earlier. The blue one is called, let's see, Chicago to New York City. And then the green one is the Underground Railroad, section 4, 404 miles. So you've got 2 of those routes, which means you're probably going to be seeing bike touring people going through town every once in a while. You're kind of got a launch pad. I mean, look at this. If you wanted to do a route where you start in Xenia, bike up to Columbus, go to North Canton, Akron, Bowling Green, Fort Wayne, Indiana, you could make a loop out of it. You could go south and even do that. Well, maybe not. It's a little bit longer. And you're kind of at a nice launch point for a lot of roads, especially somewhere on the Great Lakes. So that's exciting. I think the fact that 2 of them go directly through the city says a lot. So I want to go back to that heat map. So I just think these are so beautiful. I could look at maps all day. Sometimes when I'm bored, that's what I do. But nonetheless, what I would say in general about Xenia, Ohio, is that it's intriguing. I will be honest. It's a smaller town. It may not be a place that you would necessarily transplant your entire life to, depending on your work or your family or things of that nature. It's on my radar for a place to visit and spend time in. I think what they're doing and what they've built, and the interconnectedness to the cities in Ohio is really exciting. The fact that it has multiple bike touring routes go through it. Like I said, I would call this destination intriguing. Definitely worth checking out. I really wanted to highlight this kind of as one of the first videos because it is a unique place that I think most people don't know about. And that gets me excited. Unveiling amazing places so that we can highlight them and bring what they have to the table to other places around the country and the world as well. So if you want to learn more about what's it like to bike in various cities across the US, please subscribe to my channel. It's called What's It Like to Bike. Really just getting this off the ground. And again, if you want to be interviewed about what's it like to bike in your town, I'm trying to talk to everyday people who bring their kids to school by a bike, who get groceries by bike, who love biking, whether it's on the weekends, mountain biking, bike touring. I really want to grow that. I wouldn't even call it a sport. It's really such a lifestyle I think can improve so many people's lives. So nonetheless, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the future. Goodbye.